Hello everyone and welcome to Barca News. It's September 26, 2022 and Barcelona have confirmed that Ronald Araujo could be out as long as 2 to 3 months. Also, several names have been linked with the club as possible new signings such as Youri Tielemans, Trent Alexander-Arnold and even Firmino. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, we begin with the bad news that Barcelona have confirmed that Ronald Araujo could be out as long as 2 to 3 months. Now Araujo picked up an injury while he was on international duty in Uruguay's defeat to Iran 1-0. Now as a result, Ronald Araujo traveled to Barcelona where he underwent medical exams and it was confirmed that he suffered an injury to his adductor in his right thigh. Now initially it was believed that a surgery could be a possible solution for Ronald Araujo's injury. However, the player was hesitant because he didn't want to miss the World Cup. Well, today, Ronald Araujo, his entourage, the medical staff and the club have met in order to discuss the possible solutions for Araujo's injury, and it was determined that a surgery will be the best possible option. Now, Ronald Araujo has decided to undergo surgery and he will do so on Wednesday, and he will most likely be out for 2 to 3 months. Now, as a result, Ronald Araujo will most likely miss the World Cup. However, he is very committed to the club and he wants to recover from this injury so he can be available for the second half of the season over undergoing conservative treatment and be ready for the World Cup and later suffer more injuries the same way Samuel Umtiti did when he decided not to operate on his knee in order to be available for the 2018 World Cup, and as a result he suffered from that knee for several seasons to come. Now Barcelona have also confirmed the injuries of both Frenkie de Jong and Memphis Depay. Now both de Jong and Depay were subbed out in the Netherlands victory over Poland, and as a result both players were released from the Dutch camp and they were allowed to travel back to the city of Barcelona where both players underwent medical exams. Now the club have confirmed that both de Jong and Memphis Depay have suffered injuries to their hamstrings. In the case of de Jong, he could be out as long as 1 week, but in the case of Depay, he has a more serious injury and he could be out as long as 1 month. Now, as I reported in a previous video, which I will leave the link for down below in the description in case you want to check it out, both Jules Koundé and Ousmane Dembélé picked up injuries in France's victory over Austria. Now, in the case of Jules Koundé, the club have confirmed that he has suffered an injury, and as a result, he'll most likely be out 3 to 4 weeks. Now, in the case of Dembélé, he has pain in his calf, but he has remained with the French team, and it's now being reported that it was Dembélé who asked the French coach Deschamps to not be played in yesterday's match against Denmark. Well, it seems that Dembélé does not want to risk an injury because he's very committed to Barcelona, and he has stated in the past that he would love to play in the World Cup, but his priority now is to win the Champions League with Barcelona. Now, as a result of these injuries, Xavi is now very worried about his players who are currently on international duty, and it's been reported that the coach has asked both Gavi and Pedri, who are still with the Spanish team, to be very careful not to get injured because they are two fundamental pieces on Xavi's team. Now on to the news that it's reported that Barcelona's main priority will be in the next summer is to sign a right back. Now Barcelona currently have 2 right backs in Héctor Bellerín and Sergi Roberto. However, both players' contracts will expire in the summer of 2023. Now in the case of Héctor Bellerín, it's likely that the club will allow him to leave to Real Betis next summer, given that that was the player's original intent to join Real Betis, where he spent there last season on loan. However, Real Betis were not able to sign Bellerín over the summer because they had financial problems with their wage limit. Now, in the case of Sergio Roberto, it's most likely that Barcelona will allow him to leave as a free agent. So as a result, Barcelona will be left with no right backs, and their priority is to sign 2 right backs next summer or at least 1 big right back. Now, several names have emerged as possible options for the right back position, such as Juan Foyth and the Brazilian Wanderson, which I discussed in previous videos. But now a new name has emerged, and that is Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now it's reported that Barcelona are very impressed with Liverpool's right back and they would be willing to sign him. However, he does have a contract with Liverpool until 2025, so Barcelona will most likely have to splurge a lot of money in order to make this signing happen. Now it's reported since it's Barcelona's priority to sign a right back, they will most likely be willing to spend a lot of money, and also Barcelona consider that the rest of the positions on the team have already been filled, so they don't have to spend money on the other positions, so spending a big sum on a right back will not be a problem. Now it's also reported that Barcelona are currently monitoring Youri Tielemans as a possible signing for the midfield. Now Barcelona will be looking to reinforce the midfield with the possible exit of Sergio Busquets in the summer of 2023, and Youri Tielemans is a possible option that Barcelona are currently considering. Now Tielemans is a Belgian 25-year-old midfielder who currently plays in the Premier League in Leicester City, and he has been described as a versatile midfielder who can play both as an attacking as a defensive midfielder as well. Now Tielemans has the pace, the passing, and the powerful shots to be an attacking midfielder, but he also has defensive prowess and long passing that would allow him to be a defensive midfielder or a pivot, which is what Sergio Busquets is. Now Youri Tielemans' contract with Leicester City will expire in the summer of 2023, and starting January 1st of 2023 he will be allowed to arrive at pre-agreements with any clubs, so as long as he doesn't renew, he could be a possibility for Barcelona. Now speaking of midfielders, it's reported that Barcelona are still interested in signing Bernardo Silva from Manchester City. Now, it was Xavi's #1 request to sign Bernardo Silva from Manchester City, and it's reported that the coach is still adamant on signing Silva in the next summer because he considers him the missing piece on his team. Now, Bernardo Silva showed us during the summer that he is willing to join Barcelona. However, he does have a contract with Manchester City until 2025. Now, it's reported if Bernardo Silva does not renew his contract with Manchester City, that it would be a possibility that he joins Barcelona. However, if he does renew his contract, it will be less likely to try to sign him because Manchester City most likely will give him a higher salary and a higher release clause, which will make it more expensive for Barcelona to sign the Portuguese midfielder. Now, on to the news that it's been reported that Barcelona and Liverpool are preparing to make a swap deal where that would see Memphis Depay join Liverpool in exchange for Firmino joining Barcelona. Now, there are no internal sources at the club that have confirmed this report, so I would take this report with a grain of salt. Now, I personally do not believe this report as being accurate because after all, it wouldn't make sense for Firmino to come to Barcelona given that he is a starter in Liverpool and he also is one of the highest paid players on the Liverpool squad. Now, it doesn't make sense to Barcelona to bring Firmino as a substitute for Robert Lewandowski and pay him the very high salary when we already have a substitute for Lewandowski, which is Memphis Depay, who earns almost half of what Firmino earns at Liverpool. Now, on to the news that Pablo Torres started his first match with Barca Athletic over the weekend. Now, as I reported many times before, Pablo Torres had initially rejected to play with Barca Athletic. However, Barcelona met with the player over the winter break and they offered him to play with Barca Athletic so he can continue his growth and development while remaining in the first team dynamic, which means training exclusively with the first team and also being called up for certain matches with the first team as well. Now, it's reported that Pablo Torre has accepted this offer and he played his first match with Barca Athletic over the weekend. Now, Pablo Torre reportedly shone with Barca Athletic and he even had a run and a clever pass that led to Barca Athletic's first goal. Now, Barca Athletic won 2-0 against Real Murcia, and as a result, they're now sitting in the first place in the group in the 3rd division of the Spanish league. Now, speaking of Barca Athletic, it's reported that Barcelona could call up the Barca Athletic center back, Shadi Riyad, since both Jules Koundé and Ronald Araujo will be out for quite some time. Now, it's reported that Shadi Riyad is a very impressive center back, so we're going to have to see whether him being called up to the first team is an opportunity to discover a young star, the same way both Pedri and Gavi were discovered when Barcelona were having injury problems during the beginning of last year's season. Now, despite the bad news with the injuries, Barcelona players are still shining while on international duty. Now, Ter Stegen played the entire 90 minutes in Germany's match against Hungary, and it's most likely that he will start in tonight's match against England. Now, Frankesi scored a goal in Ivory Coast's victory over Togo 2-1, and Robert Lewandowski provided an assist in Poland's victory over Wales 1-0. Now, Rafinha has started with Brazil over both Rodrigo and Antony, which goes to show the high level that the Brazilian player is currently playing at. And Andreas Christensen played the entire 90 minutes in Denmark's victory over France 2-0. Now, we'll end today's video with the news that the Barcelona Femení defeated Villarreal 4-1 in their second victory of the Women's League. And the Clásico time has been confirmed and it will take place on October 16th at 4:15 p.m. local time at the Santiago Bernabeu. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I'd like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next video. And as always, Visca Barça.